Buying a cheap car is easy. Keeping it cheap once you own it? That's the tricky part. The purchase price is only the beginning. What you spend on fuel, insurance, tax, and those surprise garage bills can quickly turn a bargain into a burden. So in this video, I'm looking at 3 cars that don't just look cheap to buy, they stay cheap to run. By the end, you'll know which ones really protect your wallet and what makes them such good picks for budget-minded drivers. Let's start with the Toyota Yaris, especially the petrol models from around 2010 to 2014. These are a classic case of boring being brilliant. Running costs are low across the board. Most fall into insurance group 3 to 6. Real-world fuel economy sits between 47 and 68 miles per gallon, depending on the engine. And road tax usually sits around £145 per year, not the very cheapest, but far from painful. Here's a real-world example. A friend of mine picked up a 2012 Yaris 1.33 petrol with a full service history. He used it as his daily for 2 years. Total unscheduled spend? A set of tires. That's it. Insurance was under £1,000 as a relatively new driver, fuel barely scratched his wallet, and the car just kept going. Now compare that with another friend who grabbed a similar aged Corsa because it was a bit cheaper to buy. Within 18 months, it had eaten through suspension bushes, needed a clutch, and the repair bills overtook the money he thought he was saving. That's the difference. The Yaris doesn't look exciting, but it's built to last, and that keeps ownership costs predictable. If you're finding this kind of advice useful, hit the like button. It tells me to keep making videos that save you money, not cost you it. Next up, the Honda Jazz. If the Yaris is reliable, the Jazz takes it one step further. The 2008 to 2014 petrol versions are famous for being almost impossible to kill. Mechanics joke that they only ever see them for servicing, tires, and the odd exhaust. Costs are low too. Many Jazz models sit in insurance group 12 or lower. Fuel economy ranges from 45 to over 50 miles per gallon in everyday driving. Tax is reasonable, usually around £145 per year, with some smaller engine models dropping lower. Here's a real-world story. A family friend bought a 2010 Jazz as a second car. It had 100,000 miles on the clock already, but it came with a thick folder of service stamps. In 4 years of ownership, the only unplanned cost was a rear wheel bearing, under £200 to sort. The car still drove like new. The best part? These cars are often owned by older drivers. That means you'll regularly find Jazzes with low miles, immaculate interiors, and full history. They might look a bit grandad spec, but that reputation actually works in your favor. I'd love to hear your experiences here. What's the cheapest car you've ever owned to run? Drop it in the comments, and let's see if the Honda Jazz shows up more than once. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe. I've got new videos every week with more tips on keeping car costs down and avoiding money pits. For families or anyone needing more space, the Skoda Octavia is hard to beat. The 1.6 petrol models from around 2012 to 2016 are a sweet spot. They're simple, reliable, and share parts with the Volkswagen Golf, but without the Volkswagen price tag. Running costs stay manageable. Insurance is usually in the mid-teens, so not rock bottom, but still fair for the size of car. Fuel economy sits between 40 and 50 miles per gallon depending on how you drive. Tax is generally in the £145 to £180 per year range. Here's a real-world example. A neighbor swapped a Ford Focus for a 2013 Octavia 1.6 petrol. On paper, the Focus looked the same money, but in practice the Octavia saved him cash. Servicing was cheaper, the boot swallowed family holidays with ease, and when something did need fixing, the parts were widely available and priced fairly. 2 years on, he reckons it's the cheapest big car he's ever owned. That's the appeal. The Octavia might not have the badge snobbery of a Volkswagen, but in terms of keeping ownership costs predictable, it often beats its rivals. So to wrap up, 3 cars that prove budget doesn't have to mean risky. The Toyota Yaris for rock-solid reliability, the Honda Jazz for no-nonsense practicality, and the Skoda Octavia for family space without family-sized bills. None of them are flashy, but that's the point. They stay cheap where it matters, in your day-to-day running costs. If you found this useful, check out my video on how to spot a good used car deal before it's gone. That'll save you money before you even buy. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video.